Let's go for it!
Hey everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host here at The Dark Stuff. Thanks a lot for checking in on my newest video. This is going to be another kind of hodgepodge with some new records and CDs, a little bit of live footage, and a little something different on this one. I'm going to show you a little bit more of a music video that I was in a couple months ago that I meant to revisit before, and I forgot until just recently. So, let's just get right back into the records. So, I went over to my favorite record store in town, Almost Music. It was pretty close to my house over in the Blackstone district in Omaha. And I go in there, and none other than David Nance is working behind the counter. Now, I knew he worked there sometimes when he's not on tour or whatever. So I go in, we start chatting about stuff. I tell him how great his new album is and how much I love that show at Reverb and yada, yada, yada. And he says he's going to watch the videos on YouTube. I don't know if he did or not. And I said, just out of nowhere, because I felt like I wanted to buy something, but I didn't really have anything on the agenda, so I just kind of said, hey man, what have you been listening to? What's good? So he recommended 2 records for me, and I bought both of them, total blind buys. I didn't know anything about them. The first one is this from this band called Above Ground, and the album is called Gone Iowa. Okay? Again, I knew nothing about this band. It is really, really lo-fi indie pop. Initially recorded in 1983. This band is from New Zealand, okay? And this boombox here is there for a reason on the record. And the reason why it's there is because sounds like it was recorded on a boombox. Like literally a band just sets up in a room and they take an old boombox, hit record, and just record it. Now, some people really can't stand that and hate lo-fi music. If you do, this is not the record for you. But if you can get past that kind of production, and again, in the 90s, I really used to love that stuff. So I do have a fondness for it. Now, the record itself has these custom sleeves that look like little cassettes, because I'm sure that's how the album was initially distributed. It came out a couple years ago on the Silk Breeze label, which is an old sort of noise lo-fi label that is returned. And this one came out in 2011, actually. It does say at the bottom, originally released in 1983 as a cassette and booklet in New Zealand. I threw this on again, not having any idea what it was going to be. And about 2-3 songs in, I'm kind of going, yeah, this is pretty good. I like this. You know, it's very tuneful. Songs are good. You know, classic stuff.
Now the removal van is up the drive. Most every way, the animals are running in the yard.
Again, if you really have a problem with lo-fi production, you're not going to be able to get into this. But if production doesn't matter to you and you can get through that sort of those limitations and can really just sort of hear the gems of the songs in there, then this is a pretty good one. Again, it's not brand new, 2011, recorded in 1983. Good stuff. Above Ground, Gone Iowa. Second record he recommended for me is this one. The band is called Obnox, and the album is called Negative Approach. Okay? Now, Obnox is a one-man band to a certain degree. His name is, it says here on the inner sleeve, Obnox is Lamont Thomas, who plays bass, drums, tambourine, guitar, and vocals. Okay? There's the inner sleeve. It's nice, really on kind of heavy quality paper. So what does Obnox sound like? Well, again, it's lo-fi, but this is 21st century lo-fi, so there's a little more intent to it, okay? In the 80s and 90s, artists recorded in a lo-fi status because that's all they could afford at the time, you know? Classic bands like Guided by Voices and Sebadoh and the Grifters and all that stuff, they were doing that because that was all that they had, and when they got a little bit more successful, got a little bit more money, they sort of moved beyond it. It wasn't, you know, a definition of their sound. It was just sort of like this is where we're at right now. We're going to record it, and then when we have better technology, we'll do that. This is lo-fi. It mixes punk, noise, hip-hop, a little bit of R&B, and just throws it all in there. And I didn't love it. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I did like some of the songs. I think some of it's pretty good. And I'm willing to believe that some of this will grow on me eventually. But the tunefulness is just not as there on this one. And I'm still a sucker for a good melody. And Obnox is lacking a bit in the melodic category. It's interesting, and that's my basic claim. I'm not going to come out and say, oh, this sucks, whatever. It doesn't suck. It's good. It's just not great. And I like a little bit more in terms of the melody department, is all. So again, it's not getting a solid recommendation, but if something that is lo-fi, it mixes punk and hip-hop and noise, does sound appealing to you, maybe you'll get more out of this than I did. But right now I'm saying it's like And then on my own, I picked up this record by a band called Lodgings. Their album is called Daisies. It's actually an EP, a 6-song EP. This is an Omaha band, and I'm friends with the drummer, so I picked it up because of that. Turns out one of the guitar player in this band, one of them anyways, is also in David Nance's band. Interesting coincidence there. He didn't actually recommend it. I was going to get it anyways because of my friend. So at first, when I first put the first song on, I kind of thought this reminded me of some sort of 90s indie rock, like a touch and go or quarter stick type stuff. But it quickly moves into other types of music, stuff that's more overtly poppy, stuff that has like a Pavement vibe, some stuff that has like a, I don't know. It runs the gamut of 90s indie rock styles. Nothing so overtly like a Matthew Sweet, like, just power pop or anything. They don't really delve into that area, but a lot of other elements of 90s music. And I know this can be found on Bandcamp, and I think you can order the vinyl as well. So again, the band is called Lodgings. Album is called Daisies. That's all I got at Almost Music. I went over to Half Price Books just to see what they had, and they had a whole bunch of sealed 80s vinyl of a lot of various titles. Nothing spectacular, but still brand new. They're selling them for $3.99. I saw this one. This is the Cars Door to Door. This was their 1987 finale, their final album and their original run as a band. It had the hit You Are the Girl. You are the girl that keeps me up at night. That was the big one on this. And by this point, Rick Ocasek had completely taken over the band. It was like the other guys, if they even play on the record, who even fucking knows? But it was basically an Ocasek solo album at this point. You Are the Girl's a great single. The rest of the album was pretty nondescript. In my view, I do love the Cars, those first 4 or 5 albums. Actually, everything they did up through Heartbeat City was pretty genius. This is just not quite there. So $3.99 for brand new, though. It is, of course, a cutout, as you can see. So I'm saying they had Linda Ronstadt, Pat Benatar, they had all this 80s stuff, brand new, still sealed. They must have found it in the back of a warehouse somewhere, and now they're selling them at Half Price Books. A couple of CDs to show off. These are all pretty new releases. The new one from Queens of the Stone Age, Villains. This is fucking awesome. I love Queens of the Stone Age. I've never not liked an album that they put out ever since the beginning, and I did like Caius too. But I gotta say, probably by this point, I would have to say that I like Queens of the Stone Age better than Caius. Caius just had a limited amount of material. They were only together for a portion of the 90s. Great band, very influential, very important, but I do gotta say that I think Queens of the Stone Age is better. This is a song with an album, with longer songs, and every song is 5.5, 6 minutes. My golden rule, okay? The golden rule is that no song should be longer than 4.5 minutes. Queens breaks that on pretty much every song on the album, but I don't mind. It's great. Okay, the writing is really good. Josh Homme's voice sounds excellent. I don't know who's in the band at this point, but it doesn't matter. It's solid shit. Okay, Queens of the Stone Age. The new one from the War on Drugs. This one's called A Deeper Understanding. This is a Philadelphia band that gets a ton of critical acclaim. They're really great. They write these epic songs. People compare them to, like, I don't know, they're getting these weird comparisons to like 70s bands, like somebody said like the Alan Parsons Project, or just weird shit like that. I'm not really sure where they get that, but they do write longer epic songs, not in the traditional indie sort of sound. It's more sounds like this kind of stuff would have been on the radio in the 70s and 80s, just no place for it here. So I'm trying to cover up the radio sticker there. But it's really good, and this is going to be a big album this year. I can already tell you. 2014, they had this record called Lost in the Dream that just did phenomenally well. One of the bigger selling indie releases of the last like decade. And now they're on a major label. They're on the Atlantic label, and we'll see how this one goes. But my preliminary listen is really good. I just got this one in the mail the other day. It's the new Motorhead covers collection called Undercover. I love Motorhead. If you go back in my archives a bit, you'll see that I made a tribute video to Motorhead after Lemmy passed away. I do love Motorhead. I have to say, though, I am disappointed by the Undercover's album. Now, first of all, this is all previously released stuff except for one track. So if you're a Motorhead completist, you've already got all this shit, and chances are you probably heard it. But one of the things that I like about Motorhead is Lemmy's voice, obviously. It works for Motorhead. When he writes his own songs, they are written within his vocal range. He knows he's not trying to be operatic. He's not trying to hit ranges that his limited voice could hit, you know? It's just, and that's not a knock on Lemmy saying he has a limited range. I think it's a fact, and if Lemmy were still alive, he would acknowledge he has a limited range. So it works for Motorhead songs, but when you're talking about songs like, you know, Heroes by David Bowie, which is the new one, that sucks. I'm sorry, okay? It's just not good. Starstruck by the Kinks is just not good. Jumpin' Jack Flash, Sympathy for the Devil. Some of these are just not good. Rockaway Beach by the Ramones. What was good, though, was their cover of Whiplash by Metallica. And the reason why is because Metallica was very influenced by Motorhead, especially at the period when they wrote Whiplash on the Kill 'Em All album. So you see his voice blends very well with the material, and so it works perfectly. He's able to sing Whiplash in an excellent way. The rest of the record, though, I'm sorry, it just struggles. I hate saying anything negative about Motorhead because I do love them a lot, and so I wouldn't discourage people from buying it. But I mean, it has a great book, and it talks about, you know, why certain songs were chosen, you know, and what the motivation was behind it, who recorded it, when they recorded it. It was all done with the final version of Motorhead with Mickey D and Phil Campbell. There's the booklet, then you don't have to see the sticker on it. But again, this is for the Motorhead completist. And if you are a completist, you probably have everything but Heroes anyways, because that's the only brand new stuff. But I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed in this one. I went to a show the other night at a place called Page Turner's Lounge. I might have mentioned them in a video before. To see this group, Hartford Folks, okay? Now, I mentioned Matt Focht a couple of times in past videos. And in fact, if you look at video, I think it's 128 of mine, I did this little thing where he actually asked me to appear in a music video that he made for a solo album that he did. And I appeared as an extra in the video. Now, this was the album he was doing at the time. This is Matt Focht and the Faders' Way to the City, and he did a video for this track on side B here called Please Don't Say. And at the time when that came out, I made a little video about it, showed some behind the scenes, kind of described it, and then I said, well, when the video is actually released, I'll revisit it and we'll, you know, show you my part in the video and whatever. Well, it's been out for a couple months. I kind of spaced it. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. And so now I want to do this little thing where I will show you the video, and I'll slow down and show you the parts where I'm in it, and I'll give you a little play-by-play on the discussion of the video. So the video opens with me there at the end of the bar having a drink. I'm not sure about the writing on this one here. I don't know why I was put in there as drinking alone at the end of the bar. Not very realistic, but whatever. Okay. So the gist of the video, of course, is we're in this bar that's the Page Turner's Lounge, and Matt Focht right there with the beard. He's the artist in the video. He's the singer. So this is his song. And the gist of it is he's the bartender here, and a whole bunch of people are buying drinks from him, and he's so preoccupied. He wants to kind of meet up with this woman who's sitting across from him in the bar. You can sort of see her sitting there by herself. And that's the idea, but it's kind of like a missed connection because while he's so busy getting everyone drinks, he doesn't have any time. Now all the other guys start coming in to hit on her, and she's not interested, obviously, because she's interested in Matt. And now here I come in. Okay, this is my part again. So we get back into slow motion. It's interspersed with some chorus shots here, so, you know, I had to do some creative editing. That girl's name is Annie. I met her at the video shoot. Follow her on Twitter and stuff. Haven't seen her since then. But she's involved in the local music scene in some capacity. I just don't know what that is specifically. Okay, I'm done for now. Now we get back into it. Other guys are hitting on the girl, and they're doing these things, and this is the general gist of it. Then at some point, it gets really, really crazy, and everyone starts pouring in to, like, get drinks from Matt. It gets accepted. So you see me for like a second running by, and it's just like a lost connection video is essentially it. So there's my friend Joey with Amy and others, Joey's sister. There's Matt again. Okay, so you're getting a lot out of this commentary, obviously. There's the three of them singing. Crystal on the left, that's Matt's wife. Matt, Annie on the other side, she's the blonde girl. Then we show me again. This is where we each took a turn singing part of the chorus. There I am. And mine was really bad because I was all nervous and awkward, just sort of trying to lip sync. I mean, I'm not a pop star. I have very little experience lip syncing. So that's why you only see me for like a few seconds. I had to put this down to like 10% speed to make it even so you could see me on it. Okay, so we go back to the chorus. Now this is the chaos part. Everyone's trying to get a drink. Oh my God, what's going on? And then you see me in the crowd. Oh, right there. There I am. And then that's pretty much the extent of it at that point after that. All right, everybody, this is pretty much it. I just saw Ween not too long ago and shot some footage of that. That's going to be in my next video, along with footage that I plan to shoot this coming Monday when I'm going to be seeing the band X. And I'm also going to try and see Twin Peaks again, because Twin Peaks is opening for Spoon at a place here in Omaha. So what I'm going to try to do, buzz down and see Twin Peaks. I'm going to have to miss Spoon as much as I love them, because then I'm going to travel across town and go see X later that night. So I'm going to try and get whatever footage I can of both of those shows, and I'll put it together in another live video. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.